Hello and welcome to the new and improved version of Sports Scene, as I like to call it, Sports Scene 2.0, where we have a panel of experts who are going to discuss everything hot in the world of sports, mostly professional, maybe dabbling a little into college. Today we have a great panel. If you look at them, we got Cole Geiger, Cole Gallagher, and Adam Penier. So to get things started, we're going to kick right off into the hot news in the NFL with not the lockout, but the NFL Combine just happened recently. We've had a couple of people find a lot of success from their workouts. So, Geiger, what do you got?
Well, James, I got Patrick Peterson, the corner from LSU, outstanding player, hell of an athlete. He weighed in at 219 pounds, and that's something the scouts were actually pretty upset with. They thought he'd be a little lighter, but he ran his combine at a 4.31, one of the fastest times in the overall combine. So it looked, actually very well considered to other corners.
Definitely.
Who do you guys got?
Well, myself, I had two guys actually. Julio Jones, obviously was in the combine with a broken foot, just a physical freak, dominating. He caught up to AJ Green, who's supposed to be the #1 wide receiver in the draft. And my second guy would be Prince Amukamara. And he was burned kind of during the season for deep passes, and they said his speed wasn't very good, but he came in and he ran a 4.40, which is quite a bit faster than I can run. So, who'd you have, Adam?
I thought overall defense was a big thing in this combine. Defensive players are really coming strong, especially defensive line. First, I had Marcel Darius out of Alabama. He had a great combine. It really moved him up the charts. He had a 4.94 with his size. He's a big guy weighing at 319. I thought that he could be an overall #1 pick going to Carolina. And my other guy was J.J. Watt, Badgers. I love J.J. Watt. Exactly. He's a solid player, 6'5", 290, and he dominated in all his specialized drills. He was 3rd overall in the broad, tied for 2nd in 3-cone drill, 2nd in short shuttle, and 2nd in vertical. He really showed that he was here to play, and he's ready for the NFL.
They questioned his athleticism coming into the combine, kind of.
They really did.
They said that he wouldn't be as fast. He wouldn't, work out like the #1 pick would. But let's.
All right, well, there were a lot of winners. I'm kind of surprised no quarterbacks got thrown out there, but hey, that's what happens. And with winners, there's always a couple of losers that come out as well. So, sticking with the Combine, who's losing? Gallagher, let's start with you.
Who else can you say but Cam Newton? He went in there, he won the Heisman Trophy, obviously. He's supposed to be this freak of an athlete, this phenomenal player. He comes in, he says before the Combine that he thinks of himself more as an entertainer than a football player, which is just a ridiculous thing to say. Yeah. What are teams supposed to think? And then when he did the passing drills, he just looked very inconsistent, poor accuracy.
Exactly.
Hopefully he can pick it up today in the pro day. They do have that pro day today at Auburn with him and teammate Nick Farley, a defensive tackle. Hopefully they bring it up. What I had for my loser, unfortunately, was John Clay. He didn't do very well. He ran the same time 40 as Nick Farley, being a defensive tackle, and he ran that in about a 4.87. I do think it was the right move for him to try out for the NFL, but he didn't really show that he is NFL caliber running back, which was kind of disappointing being a Badger fan. But you sometimes have though. And another loser, like I mentioned before, Nick Farley. Even though he did have a decent 40 time, he didn't show that he's ready. And I think it did move him down behind, like I mentioned before, behind Darius. But hopefully he'll pick it up and show today in that combine, or his pro day.
Yeah, I had both my losers were Cam Newton, first of all, and then John Clay, both very inconsistent on their combine. But my third guy was Jerrod Johnson, the quarterback from Texas A&M. He was supposed to be an underdog type deal, Vince Young, Michael Vick quarterback, the scrambling ability he could. But people said his passes were wobbly, and the wide receivers were waiting all the time for the balls, and he wasn't connecting. So, I mean, hurtful for him and John Clay and Cam Newton as well.
Well, all these rookies get to look forward to the draft in April, and that might be all they look forward to for a while because, as you're very well aware, the NFL might be facing a lockout as of 5 p.m. Eastern this Friday, unless they can come to terms. So, what are you guys thinking about this lockout? Penier, let's start with you.
The lockout was pushed back due to complications and more talking. What really stuck out to me about how the lockout is going is that if it does happen to be a lockout next year, the NFL could see about $400 million a week if they don't play those regular season games. And also, Indy would be a big cost at $200 million just because of having the Super Bowl being played there in the following year. And one thing that I thought was very controversial was Commissioner Roger Goodell stated the fact that we're continuing this dialogue is a positive sign. So you would think positive there, but then the league negotiator Jeff Pash described it. We've got serious issues. We've got significant differences. So it's kind of up in the air. I hope there really isn't a lockout. I really want to see another NFL season. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I'm hitting on what you're saying, too. I mean, the lockout is, of course, a devastating thing for the NFL and the whole entire world out there. But you look at one thing that I think they should do is cut the rookie salaries when they're signing with a team in the NFL. I mean, it is unreal for rookies to get paid more than Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, people who've won a Super Bowl.
They haven't played yet.
Yep, exactly.
They need
League
to prove
MVPs.
themselves.
They need to prove themselves,
really
exactly. And another thing, though, that could happen is that they're saying the UFL League, the Ultimate Football League, could actually take advantage instead of the NFL if it goes into lockout.
I'd be really curious to see how that played out.
Yeah, I know.
They're pushing for, the owners are pushing for an 18-game season, and the players don't want it as well. The players are going to need reductions in off-season workouts, mini camps, and training camps if they agree to do the 18-game season, and that just seems like
they're going to cut back a couple preseason games as
Yep.
well, which is interesting.
Yep.
All right, well, that's enough for the NFL for now. We might touch there later a bit. But other big news happening right now is baseball's in full swing, at least spring ball is right now. So, guys, talk to us about what you're thinking. Geiger, let's start with you.
Well, you know, spring ball, baseball is around the corner, and everyone's excited for it to get underway. I got some surprises. I think the Boston Red Sox are going to be a great team this year. They're adding Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez, two all-stars that are going to explode this Boston Red Sox team. Not only will the bats be happening, but their pitching's going to be good. I mean, I think Boston's going to come back up, take out the Yankees, and going to go pretty far this year.
Yeah, for my surprises in the offseason, I have the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright goes down. They're co-ace pretty much, and they don't get the contract done with Albert Pujols.
Exactly.
They do not get him.
They really need to figure that out.
I guess he's a terrible player or something. They don't want to pay him. I have no idea.
I
have another team as well.
Yeah.
The Cubs are in mid-season form as they're already fighting in the dugout.
Yep.
Getting in fights. Last week they had a 5-error game, 3 errors in the first inning, and Ramos Ramirez and Carlos Silva got in a little scuffle in the dugout. So I'm just, come on, Cubs.
I do like that addition of Carlos Pena. They'll come in and play first base.
Absolutely.
They got him for 1 year. We'll see how that plays out.
He can't bat.
He
He doesn't hit above 200.
You're right.
He'll hit a home run.
He will have to step that. He's more of a K home run kind of guy.
Yeah.
But who I like right now, who's leading spring ball, are the Giants. I mean, the defending champions. I mean, right now they have the best record in spring ball season, and they've made some great additions and do have a good amount of money in case they want to do anything else. Tim Lincecum, he had 7 Ks in 3 2/3 innings. That's just showing that he's back and he's ready to play for another year.
Well, good timing on that one. Wrapping this one up, you guys talked about the surprises, but who's really finding the success this season? I mean, being the Wisconsin school we are, is it time for the Brewers to finally win? Gallagher.
On the Brewers note, I'll say they made a good move in getting Zach Greinke, the ace, but they also got one of the worst defensive shortstops in the league, and they traded away Yuniesky. They got Yuniesky
Escobar.
They got rid of Escobar. They got Yuniesky Betancourt is who they got.
Yep.
But he's just a terrible fielder. But for my real success, the Red Sox again they have probably the best bullpen in the major leagues in my opinion.
So,
they have Daniel Bard. They got Bobby Jenks.
Yep.
Papelbon.
Always an ace.
Yep.
Always coming into close strong. Who I liked as some big name additions was the Orioles. Talking about past Brewers, J.J. Hardy signed with them to play shortstop, along with first baseman old Cub Derek Lee and DH and right fielder Vladimir Guerrero. So you don't hear much talk about the Orioles, but maybe it's this year. I mean, they did make some big additions, and I'm really curious to see what they do.
They got Mark Reynolds at third now.
Yep, they do have Mark Reynolds as well.
Mm-hmm. They do not have Miguel Todd. They lost him. But their pitching staff is just
that's gonna definitely hurt them. they do have actually a former from my high school, Jason Birkin. He's moving into a closing position, and he's showed some improvement next year, and I'm really excited to watch him play this year and see how he kind of meshes with the rest of the trades.
Oh, my off-season success is going to be the Milwaukee Brewers, the hometown team.
There we go.
You add in Zach Greinke and Sean Markham, 2 elite pitchers. Now you have 3 great starting pitchers for the Brewers. You put Greinke at 1, Giovanni at 2, and Markham at 3. You now have Randy Wolf sitting at the 4 spot, where last year he was sitting at 2 and inconsistent at times. But another big thing is they signed Prince Fielder for the 1-year deal. I mean, I don't think he's going to be there long, but when you bring a big bat like Prince Fielder to the Brewers, they're going to have more hits this year.
I think Ryan Braun definitely needs to step up his bat.
Braun, yep.
He's a great player, but he was lower than he has had in the past 3 or 4 seasons, especially in the home run caliber.
Yep.
So I think for success for the Brewers, he really needs to step it up and hit some more home runs.
He really does.
Well, the Phillies get shafted in this one, even with their great pitching lineup, but who cares? Stay tuned. We'll be back with some more sports scene, but first we have to take a look at some adorable pets.
This is Digger. He is a Labrador Rottweiler, a male of 1 year old. He is quiet, handsome, playful, and wiggly. He is house-trained and would do well with other pets.
This is Crimson. She is a black and white domestic short-hair female who is 1 year old. She is very sweet and friendly and needs lots of attention and petting. She has a quiet personality but would do great in almost every household.
This is Riker. He is a domestic short-hair cat who is 2 years old. He's very handsome and loves to get a lot of attention and petting. He has a cute little mouth and needs a home with a window that can curl up in front and watch the birds outside.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
And again, the number for the Cooley Region Humane Society is 781-4014. Now we're going to move into our specialized segment today. We're going to talk about March Madness. And as you can see by the scoreboard, because my opinion is the only one that matters, we got Gallagher in the lead with 11, Panier with 10, and Geiger with 9. So we'll see if we can play some catch-up. Moving on to our topic, we're going to talk about Duke UNC, the big ACC matchup that happened this Saturday. Panier, I'll let you start this one off.
Thanks a lot, James. Being a huge UNC fan, I really liked this past weekend. The Tar Heels played fantastic, and I love when Duke goes down. Duke is a great team, don't get me wrong, but I think freshman forward Harrison Barnes is just on a roll. He had 18 points. He had a critical layup when Duke brought the game within 5. He's really the team's most scoring threat, I think, especially to other teams. And another player that really impressed me was guard Kendall Marshall. He had 15 points and 11 assists. And he was really the one who was pushing it down Duke's throat. And what was interesting about that is the Tar Heels had 51 first-half points, and no Duke opponent has reached that in the last 2 seasons. So that just goes to show that what this rivalry is really all about and what UNC is really turning it on the second half of the season.
Building on UNC, I'm a big UNC fan over Duke. Kendall Marshall, when he was looking at the floor and he had 11 dimes, he was really, I mean, taking and tearing apart Duke's defense. I mean, it just looked like they didn't even know about it. Thing for Duke is their shooting was absolutely horrendous.
Oh my God.
They shot 6 for 27 on 3-pointers, and all 6 came from Seth Curry, who had 20 points in that game. And the other point guard was Nolan Smith, who had 30. But I mean, you know, where's Kyle Singler? He only had 8. I mean, the rest of the Duke's field was terrible.
Gallagher, get your word in there quick.
Yeah, Duke shot 35%. UNC shot 52. Just plain outplayed is the bottom line. And it was also the highest rated game on CBS since 2009. Just a little tidbit for you.
Just a little bit of tidbit indeed. A little bit of tidbit coming out of BYU as well recently. Learning a few things about some of their star players after they were thought to be a 1 seed. You guys, what are you thinking about BYU, Geiger?
Well, we've learned that it's all not about Jimmer time anymore as they lose to New Mexico 82-64 their last game. I mean, you can't have just Jimmer on the team. You need absolutely 5 players, and losing